Hello, everyone. I'm here today to share one little secret. Well, like many in the Valley, I believe there's no secret left under the sun. YouTube, TikTok, they pretty much demystified everything we know we don't know. Now, AI chatbots answer questions 24/7, eventually leading us to things we don't know. But this secret I'm sharing is probably the best kept secret on earth. So many people are doing it. Nobody's hiding it. But if you haven't experienced it, you probably don't realize what it really means. And the secret is parenting. That was the moment when my son was born. Before that, I took classes. I read books. I thought, I've got this all figured out. But when he arrived, life basically said, congratulations, you've done all the reading, and now here's the real exam. And the exam? 90% beyond the syllabus. While the syllabus of parenting looks ordinary, cooking meals, teaching ABCs, playing lessons, and cleaning up the toys every day like Sisyphus. But the real challenge is never just the tasks. Every meal is an act of nurturing. Every lesson is a test of patience. Every game is a stretch in creativity, and every tantrum is a call for self-control. My self-control. My son is 4 right now. Guess what? I'm still failing some tests, but I'm learning every day. So that is the real secret of parenting. You never graduate. It's an open book exam where the questions change faster than you can flip the pages. While I'm overwhelmed by this parenting exam, I'm also kind of a hopeful student. Like many in the Valley, I am a techno-optimist. What fuels my optimism is witnessing how fast technology is changing. In my day job, I work with autonomous systems and robotics. I'm seeing firsthand that we are at a major inflection point. Over the past decade, we've seen breakthroughs in foundational model, multimodal AI, edge computing, and synthetic data. All have enabled intelligent machines to see, think, and act autonomously and intuitively. Seeing that close, I can't help but imagine how transformative they'll be for parenting. Imagine a day in a not-too-distant future. In the morning, a home robot cooks breakfast for her kids. Then a self-driving car takes your kids to school and brings them back. At home, an AI companion teaches your kids through interactive games and tailored lessons. What a beautiful day for the parent. But looking into this beautiful picture, I'm also kind of feeling uneasy. First, if AI and robots can score higher than I do in this parenting exam, where do I fit? Well, like many in the Valley, I don't want to be the VC who merely showed up in the seed round. I want to be part of the actual building. And second, if we let technology parent the kid, what happens to the kid? Before we rush ahead, let's look back. When television entered every household, Neil Postman observed the disappearance of childhood. Mass media dissolved the boundaries between the children and adults, and the children were exposed to the adult world long before they were ready. Then came the smartphone and social media. Jonathan Haidt's work shows us what happens when children grow up addicted to social networks. Anxiety rises, resilience drops, mental health issues skyrocket. Now we face AI companions that are endlessly intimate and personal. But we've seen recent tragedies where teenagers turn to chatbots for help and comfort, but the outcomes were devastating. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an AI doomer, I'm just a concerned parent. When I voiced these concerns to a friend in an AI lab, he said, well, that's what our safety team is for. We're learning and improving every day. He might be right, but reading the patterns of history, guardrails always come late. But AI keeps getting more powerful and faster in the same time. So here I am in the middle of a new test. How to be a helpful parent in the age of rapidly evolving intelligent systems. To search for the answer, I often go back to my own childhood. Come with me to rural northwest China, a place called Loess Plateau, or Mountains of the Yellow Dust. Because of the drought and altitude, summers blaze while winters bite hard. To survive both, people carve cave homes, as you can see, into the mountains to insulate from the brutal climate. Like many in that valley, I grew up in a cave home. But as a child, I always thought of myself as a very lucky city boy. Because unlike my grandparents' cave homes, ours had electricity. Even though we didn't own a TV or phone when I was little, I probably had a very lucky childhood, according to Jonas and Heiser new Postman standards. But in that childhood, I hated winter. When temperatures fell to minus 20 degrees, my hands cracked and stung. I guess I was complaining in that photo. After so many generations in the same climate, my family had shown zero genetic evolution. But winter still brought joy, though. It meant the Chinese New Year, the biggest celebration of my extended family. That year, when I was 5, we set out to visit my grandparents' cave home. They live around 100 miles away in a small village of around 50 other households. They were all traditional peasants, and their life was simple: planting crops, herding sheep, and debating whose donkey was faster. Together, we took a bus for 5 hours through the mountains, and then we had another 5 miles on foot. Halfway through the bus trip, snow began to fall. By the time we got off the bus, mountains of the yellow dust had turned completely white. At first, I was really excited. I bounced behind my parents like a happy penguin. 10 minutes later, my toes became popsicles. Every step I took, my excitement cooled by 1 degree until it matched the temperature of the cold air. Finally, I slipped on ice, fell, and burst into tears. It's so cold. I can't move on. Between sobs, I cried to my dad. Why the snow? Why no road? Why no car? Why is this taking forever? My dad picked me up, brushed the snow off, and told me there is no road, and the bus cannot go further. He paused and looked around. Then from down the slope came a faint ring of a bell. "Donkey!" he called out and waved. Then 2 villagers passing by appeared with a donkey. They saw what was happening and understood right away. One put me under the donkey, and the other gave his address to my dad and cheerfully left us with the donkey. My dad took the rope and walked ahead. With each clop, my mood warmed up by 1 degree, and tears slowly turned into smiles. We reached my grandparents' cave home just as the family was gathering. Uncles, aunts, cousins, all crammed into the warm clay walls. After sunset, kerosene light made the room glow, and platters of lamb and potatoes filled the table. They're ultra-organic by Californian standards. Because they're not just farm to table, but from farm to the table on the same day. At dinner, my grandpa chuckled and told me, "From your donkey riding skills, you carry the consistent genes of our peasant heritage." And in that warmth, cold finally let me go. Fast forward 30 years, that little boy in the snow is now a dad in Silicon Valley. My son is 4. He sits in my Tesla and shouts, "Dad, turn on FSD. It drives better than you." He asks Alexa, the Amazon smart speaker, to sing a lullaby, and then turns to me, "Dad, why can't you sing this?" If our childhoods share one thing in common, it is this. Apparently, Dad is never that helpful. But thinking back to that snowy path, I realized that the most important things were not about competing with technology, but about what my father did when the technology, the bus, ran out. It turns out to me that the principles of parenting in the age of AI are probably the same as the principles in the age of donkeys. So here now, I want to translate 4 lessons I learned from the donkey's back into AI vocabulary for parents of today or maybe tomorrow. First, be present in the snow. That's my dad in the snow. No car, no road, no phone. He admitted the limits, but still asked, how can we move forward step by step? In robotics, this is called situational awareness. Perceiving the environment, understanding the elements, and predicting what's next. So as parents, in moments when we don't know the answer, don't fake certainty. Show your kids how to pause and observe what's happening. Gather clues from the environment, weigh options, and decide on next steps. Machines hallucinate confidence. Humans know the limits. Parenting starts there. When my dad put me on the donkey, he didn't send me off alone. He held the rope and walked beside me. Donkeys on icy slopes can slip and fall. AI systems can too. For AI systems, it's called human in the loop. Having a person interacting with the system, monitoring the performance, verifying the output, and correcting the behavior. So as parents, don't hand over a chatbot or robot to your kids and walk away. Explore together, ask questions alongside them. Observe together, watch how robots behave and chatbots respond. Reflect together, discuss what's accurate and what's missing. My New Year's gift from my dad that year didn't come on New Year's Eve. I had to earn it from another donkey trip. When the snow had melted, My dad and I returned the donkey to the villagers with a plate of fresh dumplings. His lesson was clear: gratitude. AI doesn't value gratitude. Sam Altman urged users to be more direct because typing please or thank you wastes computing power, costing OpenAI tens of millions of dollars. AI doesn't value judgment. They follow something called a reward model, the definition of a good job. For example, when OpenAI fine-tuned GPT-3, they based on preferences of 40 human contractors. The model then optimizes towards this reward model as fast as possible. Its measure of success, our blind acceptance. Parenting should follow a different reward model. We must value courtesy and judgment. So instead of let your kids ask, give me the answer, encourage them to ask, give me 3 answers, and let me pick one. After having one answer, encourage them to ask, list 3 possible flaws in it. And after they have completed a task, ask them who have helped you along the way. Most of my childhood trips to my grandparents, I've forgotten them. But this donkey ride in the snow, I'll never forget it. We treasure these moments because they challenge us and we grow from it. For autonomous driving companies like Waymo, they've tested tens of millions of miles before launching robotaxi services. But the most valuable part of those miles aren't the easy ones. They're the corner cases, the rare unexpected situations where the systems struggle or fail. But that's where the real learnings take place. So as parents, don't smooth out every bump. Try to create corner cases for our kids, situations where they struggle, fail, but learn. For example, build something new together that neither of you knows the answer, like a bookshelf. Give them some real responsibilities, like planning a family trip. Or take them to nature, somewhere with tough conditions and you have to find ways to get out. For example, somewhere you need a donkey ride. My childhood was carried forward by a donkey. My son's childhood is being carried forward by AI. Between the donkey and AI stretches this long road of human progress. But the secret of this journey is that it has never been about the speed of arrival or the brilliance of the tools. It has always been about the cargo we choose to carry along. Our values, our resilience, our humility, and our gratitude. Because at the end of the trail, it is not the machines that are waiting for us. It is the people and the warmth that we never forget. Thank you.